What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another Parliament Pros call. I got my good brother Chris and Aurora here, looking good as always. Yeah, so kind of crazy times in the market per usual. These past couple weeks have been kind of rough. We still got this situation with the tariffs. I've been taking my rewards and buying a little bit more heavy lately, so I'm just gonna share my screen, show a few things here. So this is the crypto fear and greed index. We're at a 32 right now. And for the past couple months, despite being extremely bullish, we've kind of been in neutral territory. We haven't really hopped into the greed in a while. I honestly don't remember the last time we were in the greed. Like we talked about last week, I'm still bullish on.
Yeah, you have a couple of tabs open.
Yeah, just a few. Well, I was trying to click on this, but it won't let me click. But basically, we're still pretty far from, our blow off top altcoin season. And for the past few weeks, we've had a lot of ETF outflows. We really haven't had much inflow since the beginning of the month. A lot of people were calling October, but it's been pretty mid-tober, if you ask me, except for it's been October. I'll tell you that. It's been October for sure. But it's also been mid-tober. And, a few macro updates ago, I talked about how I'm kind of bearish 2026, 2027 because of the 20-year cycle. And now I'm starting to hear a lot of people start to echo that same sentiment. People are still bullish Q4, Q1, but, talking about the real estate cycle and everything else, people are actually suspecting a big crash in the next, around next year. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. If we look at all of our charts, we still have the M2 money supply increasing, and when liquidity's being printed or when money's being printed, that liquidity has to find a home. So like I said, I'm still bullish on a blow off top. We got gold still. We had a kind of a correction, but it's still at pretty crazy levels with the debasement trade narrative going. I think eventually people are not going to, especially institutions, they're not going to keep paying all-time high prices for gold. We still got the S&P 500 at all-time high levels. We got the Dow Jones at all-time high levels. We got the NASDAQ at all-time high levels. We got Apple at all-time high levels. If we look at Bitcoin, we pretty much turned previous all-time high into support, right? And we did have a few closes below it, but this is the weekly chart. But right now we're holding pretty steady. So I think if we break and continue to close below this, the next level we're going to be looking at is that 97 to 100K level. And then despite the whole ETH treasury company narrative, ETH is still kind of consolidating around local all-time high levels, right? This has been a strong area of support. But, what's the guy's name? Tommy Lee and a couple others, they still think we're going to see a 10K ETH before the end of the year. Some people are saying 8K ETH, but I would be very, very, very surprised if we saw a cycle end without ETH really exceeding all-time highs. We did see it exceed all-time highs already, but not, the multiples that it normally does. If we look at Bitcoin dominance, we had a huge spike back up, but now this is a clean. Let me get rid of this. This is a clean break and retest. I want to see a nice big red close here and then just kind of make our way down. This is altcoin season. This is altcoin season. So we still have a little ways. And then we got the ETH to BTC ratio chart looking healthy. We're turning our 62 into a nice floor. Still want to see us get above this channel. But it's a good thing that, Zora and Tibber have really been, kind of saving the performance of my portfolio just because of how well they've been doing, especially Tibber. So yeah, all things considered, not too bad. Chris, what's your thoughts on the markets, man? Any new updates since last week?
No, I mean, it's just sideways chop. Like it goes up and the very next day it goes down. It's just kind of really frustrating trying to set, a solid range to where you can have like one day without looking at it because it's been so volatile. The market's been so indecisive, and then on top of that, you have the macro events causing that. It's just been kind of tough. I think it's the toughest farming for the last 30 days than I've really ever done for me.
Really?
It just goes up, it goes down. We had the two huge drawdowns, the one from the liquidation cascades on October 10th, and then we had the Chinese sell-off on October 17th that we're still recovering from. And just it wasn't until today when markets really started going green again for most of the day. So I mean, it's just been really tough to stay in range, earning a certain percentage. So you would have been better this whole month just to stay in a super wide range from October 1st till now for a lot of the coins.
Yeah. Well, so this has been the toughest time for you farming ever. Would you say that?
Yep, I'd say that.
Wow, that's pretty crazy, man.
Yeah, it's been really tough. So I have to hit a certain percentage per day, and so that means the farms have to be a certain width and the certain volumes have to be there, and we're always rearranging to make sure we don't have any impermanent loss. So, but that means one day I could shrink my farm down to a normal range and make earnings, and then the next day, you know, it drops out of range, so you have to go wider, and then you have to wait another 24 hours for it to be able to shrink it up again. So I'm doing just a lot of rearranging to hit that monthly goal or that daily goal actually. So that's why it's been tough. So
well, while they're in range, have they been doing pretty well? What's been some of your favorite pools?
okay. So in range, my most recent darling is Zora. That one's been rocking and rolling.
It's been a beaut, haven't it? It's been a beaut. She's been a sweet girl.
It's interesting because there's some days I'm running that test between having the farm on aerodrome staked and a second one unstaked. And there's certain times where the staked one outperforms, and there's certain times when the unstaked one outperforms. So it'll be interested to see what it does for a period of 7 days.
And when you keep track of these results, you're factoring in the dollar amount. Well, I guess it doesn't matter because they're the same assets. Well, no, because you're getting paid in Arrow. So how are you actually able to track it, given that, you know, Arrow's going up and down and Zora's going up and down?
Yeah, I'm just tracking the daily returns based on the data that's shown in VFAT. They have a USD value and they have a percentage. So whenever it reports in VFAT, it just says total earned and it's in dollars, and it doesn't matter what tokens it's in. Yeah, you know, if you want to increase your earnings on the staked one, you got to just wait for a day when Arrow is really pumped up, and then you're like, oh, that's a much better return, you know. But that one, I mean, in all three of those Zora farms, they've been outperforming by a long shot, and then has been outperforming by a long shot as well.
Okay.
I had a lot of people saying, why do you still keep that slow moving farm around? I'm like, because it's really one of the leaders of AI and all of crypto, and it's just going to take a minute for it to catch back up. And when it did, man, it's doing at least 300% APR with a very wide range.
That's nothing to complain about.
Nope. And they're like, oh, my bad, you made a great call. I'm like, yes, thank you very much. Like, trust the research. Another one that's still doing really well for me is with a wide range, but literally my range on it is $1 to $3, and for that token, that's a huge range because launch price was higher than that, I think. But, I know you exited it, but I still have not rearranged my farm in 2 months, and since the last 2 months, it has survived both of those big crashes and drawdowns. The position from the stake 2 months ago is up 5% in capital value, and it's still doing a 99.5% APR.
Nice.
So
yeah, I was like, man, double-digit yields, it makes me itch.
You're like, that's not enough. That's not enough.
For a whole month, I'm just like, 99, can get 100 at least.
Well, it varies. I mean, right now, buying is slowed down, but there are times when that shows like 120 to 130% for SPX. So it's just right now it's showing 99.5.
I'm still bullish on that as a meme coin. You know what else? Another pool that's been really good has been really high for a long time.
I haven't ever looked at Toshi.
Yeah, if we let me check the Yield Hunter tool and see. It's like always one of the top pools on base. Every time we do the All Eyes on Base DeFi show, and we like look at base yields, man, that one's always at the top, and it is again here. If we look here, you can see on PancakeSwap 4,000%, and if you look at that volume to TVL ratio, you got 85K in liquidity, 19 million in volume. So that's why that's pretty insane.
On the one on PancakeSwap, they must have more than one on PancakeSwap.
I haven't done anything on PancakeSwap. Even the one on Arrow is pretty good. Another big thing that I actually wanted to talk about is that it's this conference happening on November 22nd, ISO 222. And it's so basically the SWIFT system, which is it's like Zelle for institutions and banks.
Yep.
This is what they use to send money around the world and things like that. They're changing their messaging. Basically, a lot of people think that they're going to be integrating some cryptos into this new messaging so that they can have larger data, things can move faster, et cetera, et cetera. So I've been reading up on it, and it's been a lot of social media influencers. This is a token called Masterbot. People have been talking about. I think it's BS. I actually just made a video on it, but a lot of people are really bullish on XRP, Stellar, XDC, Algorand, even Cardano. This is just another data to look out for. It could make payment coins pump. I'm not going to buy any XRP because it's already like the third or fourth largest token, but it could be good for like projects like your Plasma and different stablecoin projects. Because this is a pretty big change actually. Like any change to the SWIFT system is definitely something to pay attention to.